Hey, if you're a Rush fan, this video is for you. Now, this is part 2 of our kind of dive into the lyrics of the album 2112. Right there, got the vinyl out here. And again, we're lucky to have Laurice Williamson with us. We did the other 2112 video where we went through side 1, side A, and the whole story, which was super fun and super interesting. And when we first met about that, you said there's actually some of the themes, even though it's not part of the story, the themes from side A kind of carry on a little bit into side B. And I thought, okay, I'm going to totally nerd out over this. So we thought, let's just make another video where we kind of jump into some of that stuff and see what that's all about. So 2112, as you know, this album was the thing that kind of saved Rush. And it was amazing that it did, because it was this basically almost like a concept album or a rock opera, or, there's a lot of ways to look at it. And then, which takes up the entirety of side A, but then you get into side B, and there's some really great tracks that sometimes get overlooked because of the behemoth that is, all the stuff on side A.
Yeah, and I honestly didn't know what I would find as I wanted to dissect the lyrics and kind of figure out if it did go along. And maybe I'm reaching. You can tell me if I'm reaching, but I think every song ties to the theme of the narrative on side A. Okay. So you can tell me what you think.
Okay, awesome.
So number 1, A Passage to Bangkok.
Okay, by the way, I have to stop you right here. This is about a little less than a year ago. I was in Thailand, going from Chiang Mai to Bangkok on a train.
Really?
Yeah. And I was looking out the window at one point and I thought, I am on the train to Bangkok. It wasn't called the Thailand Express, but I really did take a train to Bangkok. Anyway, I just took a moment to appreciate the song, which is one of my favorite Rush songs, A Passage to Bangkok. Yeah.
Cool. The title is actually a nod to A Passage to India by E.M. Forrester. And do you know anything about that book?
Nope.
So A Passage to India is all about the relationship between the British Empire and the Indians when they were colonizing India, the British Raj, which lasted almost a century. So right away, this lends itself to the theme of domination, hegemony, imperialism, which is similar to the Megadon story. Clearly, I think there's a lot of innuendo that points to drugs. It doesn't, the song eschews any blatant naming of drugs, but we have pipe dream, sample, fly, hit the stops, wreathed in smoke, burn oil, and smoke rings. So in combination, people are assuming this is about drugs and maybe going on this trip to find the best drugs or the best places to get drugs. And then we have the word choice of smoke, burn, fragrance, and perfumed in the song, which definitely evoke olfactory imagery, which is a very poetic thing to do. Evoking imagery is great, but then when you use one sense, that's even more poignant, I think, and meaningful. If you read the song innocently and you're not thinking drugs, and in context with the pentatonic little Asian-sounding motif of the music, you could interpret it as just admiring different cultures, which also can lend itself to the theme of creativity and freedom of expression found on side A, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah.
So this one's probably the hardest one to fit into the theme, but I think it still does when you look at it that way.
Actually, that's a really good point, because when everything is taken care for you, you aren't able to expand your mind and see other places and experience all these other cultures, because when you listen to that tune, it jumps from country to country. Even though it's called A Passage to Bangkok, it's like you're all over the place. Yeah. And it is something like this sense of freedom where you're experiencing all these different things under
breaking out of your little epistemic bubble.
Right, exactly. Interesting.
Okay, number 2 is the Twilight Zone. And I thought it was interesting that this song is the first one whose poetic form is completely different than any of the other songs, in that it's written in rhyming couplets. So I think that adds to the alien feel of not only the title, but the song. The lyrics are about guises, like strangeness and smiles underneath a pleasant face, strangeness beneath a smile and a pleasant face. And then there's a man with three eyes, which is strange, but also don't three eyes see better than two? So you can look at that kind of ambiguously. And then the rest of the lyrics very much parallel the theme of imagination and dreams and creativity that interestingly can only be found in some fourth dimension. So again, we have like, you have to get out of where you are and go to somewhere completely unfamiliar to get to imagination and creativity, which totally goes along with the theme of side A. It hints on like waking up and wondering why no one else is around, which echoes the character in the narrative, his loneliness in the story after his eyes are awakened. And leaving an epistemic bubble is lonely, as I mentioned in the other episode, but there's a giant boy mentioned, and I contemplated that for a while. Like, what does this mean? And I think it could be representative of authoritarianism, where somebody has this outward appearance of being important and big and maybe bigger than you. So I'm going to dominate you and tell you how to live. But inwardly, they're small, insignificant, maybe naive, or it could be full of wonder, unintelligent, like a giant boy. There's a lot of metaphor that could be drawn from that. It's ambiguous, which is good. It's a good thing. Then we have at the end of the song, there's no escape, no place to hide. So once your eyes are opened, you can't hide from it. And imagination in this case is broached with intrepidation. So imagination is like, it's a little bit scary, which definitely, again, goes along with the theme of the first side. It's mysterious and borders on dangerous to like open your eyes and be like creative. It ties to the suicide of the protagonist.
Yeah, right.
Okay. 3 Lessons is not written by Peart. It's written by guitarist Alex Lifeson. And the poetic form is completely different, so even if I didn't know it was written by a different person, I would maybe assume that. It's written in 6 lines, 5 lines, 5 lines, 4 lines, 1 line. So you have this diminishing line effect, which visually could be suggestive of a speaker exploring, experimenting, living, and learning through mistakes, and then slowly coming to his unique self. So maybe there was some sort of like autobiographical expression here with Alex Lifeson's life, where he's reflecting on hard-earned lessons in life, where he just had to go, instead of being told by, someone wiser or someone trying to help you, you just have to go experience it and experience the pain, if that's what it is, but then you learn. Tying it to the album, it could express like some self-discovery and self-actualization that can't be done without a little bit of rebellion, really.
Hey, we want to hear from you. And what I mean by that is we really, really want to hear from you. Down in the first comment below and in the show notes, there is a link where you can literally go sign up for 15 minutes to actually give me a call. And what I want to hear from you is, number 1, I want to hear the 3 videos that we have made that you liked the most. Number 2, I want to hear the topics that you want us to do or that you enjoy the most. We'll have a quick meeting, go through those, and then anything else you want to chat about. We got 15 minutes. There's a link down below. So sign up for one of those slots, and we're looking forward to talking to you.
I mean, can you really self-actualize and learn and be creative without a little bit of rebellion? Probably not. Not in most societies and cultures, I guess.
Yeah, because it gets back to, again, the theme on side A, where we've taken care of everything. Mm-hmm. Self-actualization is now expanding your mind a little bit to what else is there. What is my independence? Where do I fit in? What makes me special?
Yeah.
Yes. What's my purpose?
Yeah. So I love that. And the title, Lessons, it gives you a lot to think about. 4 is Tears, and it's written by Geddy Lee, the bassist and guitarist. And the poetic form here was super interesting as well. You have a rhyming couplet with a slant, anaphora, and parallelism, and then 2 repeated short lines. And then you have another rhyming couplet with 2 different lines. And then lines 2 and 4 go from what would touch me deeper to what would touch you deeper. So the alternation between me and you gives the feeling of 2 people exploring or reminiscing maybe a common past together. And it says, a lifetime of questions, tears on your cheek, insinuating pain from maybe wondering or worrying. And then I tasted the answers and my body was weak. The alliteration of tears and tasted, I think, ties those words together and gives it more meaning. But it seems to evoke like exploring experiences caused pain, which often it does, right? His body was weak for the person he's speaking to, and his body was weak for the truth. So we have kind of a dual meaning. And I love that you have enough of a story to kind of assume some things, but also it's left vague enough that you can interpret it in a couple of different ways.
I love the putting the tears and the tasted together, because you think back to some of your earliest memories of crying and what happens when you cry. Your tear goes down into your mouth.
You always tasted it when you... Yeah.
Yes. It's funny because as we're saying it right now, I'm thinking, man, I remember that experience so clearly, that there's that important connection between tears and tasting. So anyway, that's pretty interesting.
And then I think the ultimate question of the song is poignant. What's more touching, tears that fall from eyes that cry, or tears that fall from eyes that know why? I had to ponder on this one for a long time, like, what is he saying here? But again, it's beautifully dual in metaphoric meaning. It could be two lovers and one's crying because they know and understand the other enough to know why they are crying, or it could be like a tie to gaining light and awareness. So one set of eyes is crying in ignorance, and one set of eyes is crying because they have experienced the answers. And again, that totally ties to the narrative on the other side.
Yeah, wow, interesting. Yeah, had never even thought about that.
But yeah, I loved those lyrics. I like to think about them, and I'll probably have another thought about them tomorrow that's different. That
was by the way, the song Tears, I remember when I bought this album. Of course, I loved Passage to Bangkok. I loved the side A too. But for some reason that song, I don't know what it was, really, really resonated with me. I always loved that song.
I like it too.
Good.
It's beautiful. Okay, number 5 is Something for Nothing. This song is overall more cliche than any of the other songs on the album. And so some might consider that like reductive. We have, quote, winds of change, which is cliche, and rainbows and casting gold, which is also a bit cliche. However, the overall theme of this song sums up like Ayn Rand's theme of freedom isn't free, something for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the most interesting line might be looking for answers to the questions you have found. So the idea of finding questions rather than finding answers, I think, is intriguing. And it doubles down on the theme of indoctrination and inculcation, like where questioning is like the danger. Questioning is rebellion, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the first step out of a little box of inculcation or your epistemic bubble that you've learned is right, and then suddenly you realize, oh, maybe I'm not right. So where was I? Oh, the sleep still in your eyes. That line is ambiguously kind of denoting the literal meaning, like a natural cause of impeding sight, or it could be willful ignorance, like the sleep is still in my eyes, I haven't awakened. In the end, your song, which is a quote, is somewhat cliche for idiosyncratic contribution and life path of each individual. Like, sing your song, do your thing in life.
You know, for those of us that love this classic media, I think most of us remember these things, audio and videotapes. And I recently realized that a lot of the viewers of this channel don't realize that behind this channel, there's a company called the Audiomover Digitizing Studio. And for 25 years, we've been digitizing old media like this for individuals and organizations across the United States and Canada. So if you have any old audio or videotapes you need preserved, we can help. And for anybody watching this video today, we're offering a 15% discount on any Audiomover digitizing service. Just use the discount code on the screen. So visit audiomover.com today to learn more and get an order started.
I think the cliche album ending is actually pretty brilliant because I think it could be purposeful. It plays to a listener's need for something familiar, some closure, some like it plays to an expectations where after an album that's a little bit disruptive and disturbing, you kind of need like something to sort of soothe you and draw you back to something that feels familiar. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then also grabbing onto something familiar, also it goes back to the idea of collectivism, which the narrative and the an anthem, Rand's anthem, talks about. Like human nature is to grab onto what's easy and maybe what's given to you rather than reaching outside of it and finding yourself. But so it goes back to the idea of collectivism, the philosophy that's borrowed from the dystopian literature that the whole narrative was borrowed from. Yeah, so.
Wow. That's cool. Yeah, that's more than I bargained for. to hear all those little things that were part of that. That's really cool.
And obviously these are my ideas, but they're somewhat educated ideas.
Yeah.
Take them or leave them.
No, but honestly, that's part of the enjoyment of something like this is being able to pick them apart. And I would imagine, I mean, these guys were very thoughtful and purposeful about what they did on these records.
Yeah.
And so it would not surprise me a bit, even though, because the album is called 2112, it's not, it represents this whole piece of art that isn't just side A.
Right. It's all together. Somewhere they're related. Like they put it together for a reason.
They're on the same piece of vinyl. Flip it over, side B, and it's all part of the 2112 big picture thing that they created here for the world. And so anyway, that's as valid as anything. I love that stuff. That's super fascinating. So what's funny? I'd forgotten until just as we're going through this that was Geddy's song. I knew it at one point. I just hadn't thought about it in a long time. And then Alex had his. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. And this is again one of their. This album was just so unbelievable. I mean, it was just it was so spectacular.
It was.
And then it's also interesting to me, this imagery right here that then kind of became part of just the Rush look. All the time you had this thing, and it was this like this bare individual facing whatever that thing is.
Right.
And it became such an important part of Rush imagery, and to have it right there to kind of, as part of this, I think is kind of a really important thing too. So, and then look how awesome they look.
They do look awesome. They're glowing.
Well, it's funny because they've often made jokes about this. The clothes that they wore, like we weren't really thinking about our fashion all that much when we were doing this
they
stuff.
They look like disco dancers.
Yeah, there was something about this, had this kind of, it was definitely different, but anyway, what cool stuff. Hey, thank you again for taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
That was
I had
super
so much fun.
That was really cool. So, hey, and again, please follow the channel if you're not already following the channel. Like the video. Leave your comments if you have any thoughts or input, or you probably have other thoughts about those songs and how they relate to the theme, and we'd love to get that stuff down in the comments as well. Of course, if you're a Rush fan, you know other Rush fans, and we really appreciate it when you share these videos with them too. And so anyway, again, thank you for taking the time to be with us here today. And with that, have yourself a fantastic day.